Gonna blast out these, get our minutes worth out of this free Zoom session, eh?
Free Zoom session.
Uh, can we just start, please, with some follow-up from the last episode? Because
Okay.
because I want to point out that you made a busted reference. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I
And
did, yeah.
and that was from 2002. And then when I made my Futurama reference, you said, "Oh, it's an old show. How am I supposed to get that reference?" And it's
Yeah.
from 2002. We made
Okay.
identical references to the right year, to the same year, sorry.
Yeah, but there's many episodes of Futurama in comparison to one song.
There's many busted songs.
Track.
There's many busted songs.
Yeah, there's very many, but there's not very well-known ones like that.
That's not my fault. That's not my problem. That's Busted's problem. But it's so uncanny that we both made a reference from 2002.
Yeah.
Right.
That's our age.
That's the follow-up done. Let's get into
Super.
episode 2. Welcome, everybody. I just had
Got
to
notes.
set that score. Oh my god, this is the first time ever. There's notes for.
I had notes last time. I had notes.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. Sometimes I just think you wing it.
I do. For the most part, I wing it. Yeah.
Okay. I already talked a little bit about episode 2. This is Star Trek Picard season 3, episode 2. What have you got to say for yourself, Adam, with regards to this episode?
Okay. No, so Jack Crusher, he feels it's very much on the nose that he's Picard's son. Very much on the nose. He's got the stupid British accent.
Are we just breaking it down? We're not going through the plot.
Yeah.
We're just going to break it down.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through my little points, and then
Okay, before you do that, let's start from the top. Let's just say the pace of the episode. How did you feel after watching it? Because so much happens in the first episode, and yet to me, so very little happens in this episode.
I suppose I've just had a quick view of it again just to refresh myself. Upon second viewing, quickly. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a better episode than the first one. The pacing, as far as that goes, I thought it was okay. I mean, it did a lot of stuff in the episode which didn't really get to much of anywhere, if that makes any sense. So it just basically kind of went with, we're stuck on the little ship, we found the little ship, and now we're back on the big ship, and now an even bigger ship's attacking us. That was basically the whole thing. And then they want Jack Crusher for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. He must have really pissed them off somehow. I don't know.
I wonder if something's in his DNA.
It'll be something obscure like that, or something daft. I don't know, something stupid, or like he's inadvertently killed someone that she loves, or some bullshit. I don't know.
I feel like
It'll be something.
I don't want to defend Star Trek Picard here, but it could be any reason. Whatever the reason is, it's going to be bullshit, which is unfair a little bit. But there we are. That's their problem, not ours.
Yeah. And can I say that I like the pacing of the episode, right? It seems okay so far. But what I don't like is Raffi's parts of the episode.
Okay.
Every time it goes to her, it loses all momentum. I'm like, I'm done. Actually, this is the first time I skipped a little bit of her. So like I'm bored. Go away. And then it got to the bit where she met the Ferengi, and I'm like, okay. And then he makes me miss Quark. So I'm just like, every time I see a Ferengi that's not Quark, I'm like, well, I don't care. You're just a poor man's Quark.
Well, that's unfair to the Ferengi, but okay, I think every comparison is going to be made against Quark.
Yeah, it's because he made the character and he made such a big thing of it, and it's because the Ferengi at the time were not really a big deal. I think they tried to make them serious when they first introduced them. Then they turned into a bit of a joke and a sideshow. And then it's not until Quark came along that they sort of were a bit more, oh, right, that's what they're about and that's what they are. That's good. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
until he came along, they weren't anything like, they weren't a big deal. They were more of a joke.
This, again, before we get into the Jack Crusher and therefore all the other characters, still talking about the plot, because of the pacing, I feel like they're holding back something that's going to go into the rest of the episodes, and I don't think they should have done that. I just feel you could have got more done in that second episode. So part of me considers it a bit fillery, especially with the Raffi scenes.
Yeah, it felt more like setting up to me, like setting up for like the future of the next episode and the next episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very setting up-y sort of episode.
So much happens in the first episode, and then it slows down.
Yeah.
Well, let's get all the references done in the first one, and then let's settle down in the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do agree about the Raffi scenes, and a lot of people online have expressed the same feeling.
It's not the actress. I think she's a good actress, and she does what probably she can with whatever she's been given now. But it's just out of place, and it just seems to completely break apart from what's going on the main thing. And I'm like, it'll connect at some point, I'm sure, but at the moment it just seems very disjointed.
And it's not because she's black, is it? It's just because of the character and the story, right?
No, it's nothing to do with that. Why does that come into it?
Because it always comes into it when we talk about people who are black. And if somebody on Twitter will say, it's because she's black. You don't like a strong black woman. No, I actually like the actress. I like her actress. I like the actress. I just don't like the character or her storyline. I've never liked that character.
I do.
Ever since episode 3 when she was introduced to us, or 2 from season 1.
Yeah, I just wish it made more sense. I'm sure it will. Especially, I don't know, the stupid weapon that she's after or whatever she's following up on. It looks like a Doctor Strange fucking portal coming down and sucking things up. And I'm like, I don't care.
Did you notice that they said only 117 people died?
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, how? We had the whole building, and then it went on to another. It just dropped on part of the city, and I'm like, surely not. There's only 170. There must be way more casualties than that.
Right. Bizarre, but okay. Now that we've established the plot, kind of, what did you want to say about Jack Crusher? Why did you want to open up with Jack Crusher?
Because obviously the episode opens up with him. It borrows a lot of themes from things. So I got very Guardians of the Galaxy sort of vibes from this at the start, especially him as well as a character. He seems very much like a Star-Lord type character. Do you know what I mean? He's very much
Now that you said it,
he's definitely got that vibe to him. You know, he's on the run. He's like a smuggler and a fucking all this other shit. It's just like probably what Star-Lord was. Not so many different. He's got a load of different identities and stuff like that, and it's just very much wearing the cool jacket, you know. And I'm like, I'm getting a lot of Star-Lord vibes. And it opens up as well with like a classic sort of, is it a 70s or 80s track, you know, like classic rock, you know. And I'm like, all right, again, it's nothing wrong with that. It's just borrowing a lot heavy from that.
This was from Jack Crusher's scenes, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I totally don't remember.
The episode opens up with the ship, you know, that they're on, and it opens up with the Star Child song, and just him being sort of approached by, I think, a Starfleet ship.
The Fenris Rangers,
the codes. Yeah, we need to like search a ship basically, and then he just basically bribes them, just sort of like get medical supplies to the planet or whatever. I don't mind him either. I don't mind any of the people in this. I do quite like where they're going with it. It's a lot better than the previous 2 seasons, which were dog shit. But like you, I said, you've opened me up to the point of like, it's not classic Trek, and nothing ever will be. And to get that sort of vibe and tone again is probably going to be difficult, not impossible, but difficult. I more in this episode. I do like Captain Shaw. I just think he's really good. I would like a spin-off season or a separate thing with him doing like on his ship and doing like a Star Trek Next Generation thing with him and his crew. That'd be pretty cool, I think, because I quite like that character. I want to see him sort of grow and evolve a bit more. And I think a show like that, an episodic show, would be quite good and fun to watch his character evolve.
I would agree, as long as they turn the lights on. Speaking of episodic shows,
the color palette,
Sorry, speaking of episodic shows, just a quick segue. Have you watched Strange New Worlds? Because that seems exactly what you want from Star Trek, from Nutrek Star Trek.
I've only seen clips of it on YouTube. I've been meaning to watch it because it does actually seem I was going to say, like, wouldn't that be a show that would appeal to you? 'Cause it is quite like classic Trek a little bit in terms of.
Yeah, but they keep contradicting the canon, and the characterizations aren't correct. They don't speak like
Okay.
Starfleet officers. That's all. So
Right.
they've mucked it up.
Yeah.
And plus, the size of the Enterprise, it doesn't fit with what you want or how you see it
Yeah.
in later in obviously TOS and then the movies. It doesn't. They haven't conformed to what's going to come.
Okay.
And some of the stories are just dog shit as well. They just make no sense in terms of logic, the story plotting, which I find in this episode too. For example, when Jack Crusher go back on Jack Crusher, they put him in the brig, but they don't search him. Why wouldn't they do that? And then he wants to escape and beam himself on board. But if he just told somebody that's what I want to do, if he told Captain Shaw that, then Captain Shaw's like, okay, that's what I want you to do. So then he doesn't have to fight anybody to get off the ship. And they don't seem to want to say these things, or they don't want the characters to say these things, so it ups the drama, and it's a false level of drama because we know his intentions, or we find out his intentions. And then there's just a typical plot hole, such as we didn't search him when we put him in the brig, and he tricks the guy to get him out. And it's like, well, I can see that coming a mile away just as much as I can see it's Captain Picard's son a mile away.
Yeah.
So weird. I mean, at least in classic Trek, you could hide it behind something cheesy. This is trying to be serious and edgy. So I expect the reasoning, the plot to be resolved through serious means. You can get away with it on Star Trek. You know, they didn't always take themselves so seriously. You had Captain Picard dressed up as Robin Hood with his band of merry men, and Q was dicking around with him, trying to get Lady Marion back on a messed up holodeck adventure, or whatever it was. But
it's a holodeck thing,
Right, but here you don't get the holodeck. You've got real world life story coming on with consequences, and the guy just bullshits the Starfleet officer. It's like, come on.
I did get that as well. Like when shit's going down, and then Picard just takes over on the bridge. He's just like, Admiral's orders, and he's just like, what the fuck? And he just,
which in the first episode, Captain Shaw said, "You're retired, so you don't get to tell me what to do," and he takes over.
Yeah, he just takes over.
That's Nutrek writing. He's like, okay, I'll acquiesce to a retired admiral now. But I will say, in that moment, it did feel like Captain Picard. Like, Patrick Stewart seemed to have an energy that resonated with me. That was like, oh, that evokes the old classic Picard. But I don't know how long it'll last.
I mean, he does feel more like his character, but obviously a lot older. Actually, more now than in this. Well, the 2 episodes I've seen, he feels more like Picard in this than he did in the other things. So the other things, he just seemed like a broken down old man. Right. It was quite sad and quite annoying to watch.
Can agree with that. There was an interview with Patrick Stewart saying, when we decided to go back to this, we had to realize that the characters had changed just as much as the show had changed. Sorry, we had changed as people. It's like, yeah, but the amount of changes that you've put into the show in the first 2 seasons doesn't warrant that much character change, character growth from somebody who's past his midlife. People usually get set in their ways as they get older, and this guy has become something different. So it's like his excuse, his reasoning. It's like, okay, I get it, but I don't believe it, because I think you just don't have the same writers who wrote for him as he does now, and he doesn't realize that he's just he's covering up for that, but he doesn't, like I say, he doesn't realize it.
Yeah. Just every time he gets stressed out, it's like, Beverly.
There was one good scene. There was 2 good scenes. One where he says engage. He takes command of the Titan. The one where he sits down with Jack and tries to figure out who Jack is. Those are 2 good scenes in terms of character, just in isolation. Yeah. Because it seemed like him. But other times, they make these assumptions, and the plot seems to go with what the character has assumed. So if you go back to the beginning, when Picard sets up the anti-transporter devices, he says that's what they're going to do. Yeah. And then they did try to do that. And then 2 goons come on board the ship. Riker kills them. And Riker says, now that they've lost 2, they won't try that again. And then the plot turns out exactly like that. But if that is how they operate, Beverly killed 2 of them in the first episode. So why are they still chasing Beverly? And in the time it took to get off that ship, that Shrike, large ship, could have tried all sorts of things to get on board. They could have beamed over 100 goons. They could have beamed over a knockout gas. They could have just transported the ship. They could have just tractor beamed the ship. There's so many permutations that the writers don't seem to understand that that's what they could do. And then it's just this slow effort to get the Titan to back in, cut off the transporter beam, and then they take them. It's like, what? Because the plot has got to get them on board the ship. The Titan, I mean.
Yeah.
But again, it's still not as bad as the first two seasons with regard to the writing, but that style of writing where things move so quickly that if you don't pay attention, then you go along with it. But once you sit back and think, hang on, then you realize, how could they do that? And then you can start cherry picking or nitpicking the plot, the consistencies in the plot.
Like, I'm still not. This is the first time I've seen the antagonist. Is it Vadik?
Yeah, Vadik. Yeah.
I'm still not sure on her. Seems very. It's very over the top, very dramatic. She reminds me actually of. You've seen Austin Powers, right?
Yes, I know where you're going to go with this. A lot of people online have said this.
Yeah, reminds me of her. You know, the Frau, what's her face, whatever.
Frau Bissenhofen or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Where she's just screaming all the time, you know?
Yeah. I don't understand why. I mean, I do understand why. They want to set her up as like some kind of Khan.
Yeah.
But why does she, how can I frame this? She says at the beginning, scan my ship. I'm going to drop the shields and you can scan my ship. I mean, the nitpicker in me wants to say you don't need to drop the shields to get a scan of someone's ship unless she's got some amazing shields as well. They find out all the weapons she's got on board and they're like, holy shit, we're going to die if we don't give Jack Crusher over to them. And then a lot of the tension resides on that fact. How do they get off? How do they get away with this without giving up Jack? Because we know they're not going to give up Jack. So how did they do it? And then at the end, they're just like, fire the torpedoes, let's go. But she said, I could just blow you away. If I see your impulse engines power up or warp away, whatever, I'll just blow you away. And then she's just like laughing, dancing on the bridge or spinning in her chair. I can't remember what exaggerated.
Yeah, she was like laughing, going into the gas clouds or whatever the fuck it went into.
The whole thing rests on that threat, and then there's no threat.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because we just try and spin it like maybe Picard's like, oh, she's not going to kill him, so we can just fuck off and they won't do anything. Under that assumption, maybe.
Right.
But
which makes sense, but the show doesn't say that.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You're having to work that out or sort of assume that yourself as the audience watching. I don't know. And like you say, when we talk about it, I know I can see a lot of plot holes here and there, and I'm like, okay.
Do you want another one? Do you want another little plot hole? When they meet the Shrike, the shields are up on both ships, and as you know, Vadik says, "I'm going to lower mine." They don't lower the shields on the Titan. Then she picks up the ship with the tractor beam and flings it at the Titan, and then Captain Shaw says, "Raise the shields." It's like, but you never dropped the shields. and if the shields were down, what's stopping Vadik from just beaming Jack Crusher off the ship again? Because you don't have anti-transporters unless the shields are up. So it's like, it's like the writers don't understand the universe that they're writing in, and there's all these possibilities to go somewhere, but it just follows a logical or a typical sort of plot from any story that we've seen before.
Like any typical sci-fi show that a regular audience would watch and not really know all these fine details.
I would say even a rom-com, like a rom-com has a set linear path, and it's very rare that a rom-com will deviate and it becomes something else or something novel or interesting. It's always the same flow, and this is doing exactly the same thing. Or even just an action movie or a Rocky movie. It goes the same way.
But like you're picking up on those things because you're a diehard Trek fan. So for me though, I didn't pick up on any of these things. So is that just your cynical eyes looking at it in that sort of light?
Well, the more you understand something, you could say, the less you know. But the fact that I know a lot to see these mistakes, it ruins it for me. I can't be immersed in that thing that they're trying to present as gripping and tension filled and whatever you want to describe it. That's the problem. It's like playing. It's like if you knew everything about football, but they're playing with 3 men versus 11, and they're trying to make it dramatic. Like, oh, how are 3 men gonna play against 11 men? It's just not possible. They'll just get reamed.
Yeah.
That's a bad analogy, but that's the quickest one I can come up with. If you want to go really nitpicky, there's a shot of the Titan after they've flung the little ship at it, and it scrapes. Remember, it scrapes the top, and she says, "Oh, deck 11's damaged."
There's no damage.
There's no damage. Now that is really nitpicky. That's another level of nitpickiness because somebody did do the CGI on that. So that's just like something to laugh at. But when they talk about the shields are down, you can just beam Jack Crusher off, then like that's a plot hole.
It's all right. They've got replicator tech, so it
they haven't.
Fixes
the Discovery has. Even then, they've only got an hour.
What did you think of the handler reveal of Raffi's handler?
Worf. It's nice to see Worf. It genuinely is, but he kills everyone like straight out. That is not the Worf from TNG. This is the Nutrek kind of Worf, and the way they treat life in Nutrek, not in Star Trek. Worf would never kill an unarmed man. I know the Ferengi is a bastard, but he was unarmed, and he's a Ferengi. He's like 5'1", and Worf is much bigger. He's a warrior. And nitpicking nerd makes the point that even in Star Trek DS9, Gowron accosted somebody who was going to kill what's his name, Quark, and he said, "Are you that pitiful that you're going to kill an unarmed Ferengi of all things?" And then he strips him of his honor, and then Worf goes and does that. So weird.
I feel like that scene was just to show, like, oh look, it's Worf, he's badass.
Yeah, it's really dark, and you can't really see what he's doing. But he chops someone's head off, and then they play the Klingon music, and I just knew they were doing that. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Every time there's a Klingon, it's da da da. You got to celebrate it for a little bit. It's like WWF music to introduce them. They've got to get the tune in.
Do you like the way, like how these characters have aged? They look like, I think they tried to age them in a Star Trek Next Generation episode where they were older.
Yeah, in All Good Things, the last episode.
Yeah, and they sort of look kind of close to what they look like now, which is quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah.
I had a problem with Worf in the trailer, in the promo, because Worf from All Good Things looks different to this Worf. And Worf has grey hair, and people are pointing out that Klingons live a long time. I'm just nitpicking now. This is just an aside. This is just for you. Worf has grey hair, not pure white hair. And then when you see the old Star Trek Klingons from classic Trek in DS9, they've got grey hair. So people were like, why has he got pure white hair? He's not that old. But then you find out that Michael Dorn wanted a reference to be in the hair, which I thought was clever.
Yeah.
You Kill Bill, the guy who teaches the woman, Uma Thurman's character. And he's stroking the beard, and he's got the massive white eyebrows. He's basically a reference to that kind of archetype, because that's where Worf is in his life. So I can understand that now a bit better, but still, it doesn't excuse the whiteness. You could have just done it in grey. Not good enough. Not good enough.
Jesus Christ.
There will be a drip feed of characters as we go through the episodes, by the way. So Worf is the second one, or the fourth one, if you count. Riker is the second one, and Beverly is the third one.
Okay.
Yeah, after Picard, of course. Who even though the show's about him, it doesn't really focus on him. He seems like a bystander.
Yeah, it just seems. Well, I suppose he can't really do much, can he? Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why he needs Riker in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the show is like maybe 10 years too late or something. Well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah.
Definitely see that.
Because he's what? He's like 80 now, is he? 80 something?
Yeah.
Picard? Oh, John Luke in Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, and Riker is the guy who plays Riker is 67, so he's much younger.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's a shame that they've delayed. No, I won't say delayed it, but if they had the idea to do this sooner, instead of concentrating on the J.J. Abrams movies. But I'll tell you this: considering how old they are, the the TOS crew couldn't be in movies at that age. The TNG crew are now older than the TOS crew from when they were in the movies from the 90s. The last movie was 92, so 89.
Yeah.
That's when they were like, they're too old for this. And now we've accepted that these characters are believable at a much older age.
Yeah.
So that's progress, I guess, against ageism or representation. because no, it's fair though, because you wouldn't really have an old woman in a science fiction movie or TV series unless there was some kind of old witch or some random minority.
Well, it's like
stereotypes.
Harrison Ford for like Indiana Jones. He's like old as fuck now, and he's going to be doing Indiana Jones again. So
yeah. Well, we could go into a massive segue, but we don't have the time, about how the boomers just won't let go of our culture. They won't let go of pop culture, politics, any of it. They just won't go away. But as I said,
it won't go away, but they have to adjust it for modern ways of thinking.
With regard to Captain Shaw, can you understand his motivations now?
With regards
to what? Because the episode gives him more to do, and he says, "I'm not going to risk my 500 crew for Captain Picard, Admiral Picard and Captain Riker," and
for
that's
two
part
of them.
of and it's a valid argument. It's not, again, we said this last episode. He's not woke. He's not written in a woke way. He's got actual justifications.
Yeah, everything he's doing is like logical and to the book and like following the rules and stuff like that. And I get it, and it's all legit because he's thinking of the crew, all the lives that are on the ship. He's not just going to go and jump into a fire just for like two crazy bastards that have decided to steal a shuttle and go and do whatever they're doing. But then obviously Seven gives him the ultimatum of like, well, you can be known as the captain who let two legends die or just go away. And it's like, it puts him in a hard position because on one hand, yes, he's got all his morals and stuff like that, but on the other, it's like, if he does go back, then his reputation will be hampered by that if they did die, say. And it's like, oh, it's very great. It's not black and white. It's like, it's a hard decision to make if you're in that situation. You're like, do I weigh it up like that, or do I just fuck that off and then go? It's a hard one because he could get flack from Starfleet, could get flack from like public images and stuff like that, anything. So it's a hard position to be in.
He could, and you are right to point that out, but there's two problems with that. One, Seven tried to appeal to a Starfleet captain about how to be a captain in a sort of way that would boost his reputation, and Starfleet captains don't operate like that.
Yeah.
They don't do things for that for valor and glory. And second, Starfleet, as shown in episode 1 or 2 of first season, they said they don't like Picard because he that's why he retired. They don't so maybe they wouldn't care. Oh, Admiral Picard died. It's okay, fine. The board of inquiry, the book is closed on this one. Let's leave it. They probably wouldn't care because the Admiral told him to shut the fuck up.
Oh, sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah, and that as well. So it's not like he's well loved. From what the story, this universe is telling us, they don't care about Picard and Riker. What has he done? We don't know what he's done. So if he dies, he's just another. I don't want to say just, but he is just another Starfleet captain who saved the Borg like 40 years ago. Okay, that's done and dusted. So this, I just don't like the idea that Seven would try to appeal to his vanity to a Starfleet captain like that, especially when he's saying, "I've got 500 lives on the line." Why throw that in later?
Well, it's a friends. I think in that moment, she's probably trying anything at that point.
Yeah, okay, but to me, it doesn't work. Again, I'm more sensitive to this stuff than you are. I'm glad actually that you're not as geeky on this as I am, because you do pull me back.
No, it is good though, because you've got two different sides of the coin, two different opinions. Because it wouldn't be that compelling if we were both like dead into Trek, and then we'd just be both like hating this thing. Well, now you've got two completely different opinions.
If you agreed with me, it would be very compelling for me.
Very boring. It'd be very boring to listen to.
Maybe
two people fucking slagging them off.
Yeah, I just don't see it works with what she's doing. But okay, it's fine for you. Then it's fine for you, right? I just need to be more cognizant of these things.
I just think it put him in that sort of moral dilemma. It's like, fucking hell, what do I do here?
Yeah, it just shows a lack of care to me. To me, it shows a lack of care. Yeah.
But I do really like his character. I really think that they could do well with doing like a series with him and that ship, and make a crew on the deck, and have specific characters on that deck, and it'd be really, I reckon it could work.
Maybe they will.
Did it right. And if it's wrote like, I don't have the same guy who did this doing that, but then obviously change the color palette for your little
yeah.
But like, yeah, just do it like that, and then I think that could work. Hopefully, I don't know. He'll probably die in the next couple of episodes.
maybe he will. But there's a reference. Did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
No.
Oh, there's an episode where the captain dies of the Pegasus, and then the first officer dies. He gets murdered, and so the only highest ranking officer left is the engineer. So they make him the captain, but he captains the ship as though he's in engineering. So everything's all tightly regimented. But at the end of the episode, spoilers, he dies saving the ship, and I feel like he's going to go the same way as the guy from Battlestar Galactica. That's all. He's going to die saving the ship somehow.
Yeah, that'll be a shame.
There's an unintentional reference that somebody caught. I wish I could give them the praise for this. But do you remember in TNG, there'd always be an admiral that comes on board the ship and says, "Picard, you've got to do this. Picard, we've got to do that." And they sort of steer him away, and he goes against his sensibilities of how to captain the ship. Do you remember that? So you'd get what was called like a bad admiral come on board.
Oh, okay, yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Right. Patrick Stewart is now playing an admiral, telling Captain Shaw what to do with his ship. Isn't that ironic? And now we get it from the admiral's perspective, whereas in TNG we always got it from Captain Picard's perspective.
Yeah,
I love it when there's so much material that you can make an unintentional reference.
Yeah.
With 7 minutes left, do you have any other thoughts on this episode?
Like I say, we pointed out some plot. Well, you pointed out some plot holes. It's made me think.
I did.
Obviously, over it again. Yes. I'm still enjoying it more than I did the other one. The other ones I just was like, fucking hell. Like it was a chore and a pain to get through. And I was like, honestly, just skipping things to get to another scene. Going, is that better? Is that interesting? To this, I'm sort of watching it until I get to the Raffi scenes, and I'm like kind of like in that same. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting those familiar feelings again of wanting to just skip past that. It'll be relevant later. I don't give a shit. Let's get back to the main plot. But so far so good. Again, I have my doubts about the bad guy. I'm really hoping it's so sort of cliche to sort of we'll lose him in the clouds or the galaxy fucking whatever, and it's like it is very cliche. It's very fucking oh, we can lose them through here, this gas cloud or whatever. And
there's always a nebula.
I bet they won't be able to fire their weapons without fucking, I don't know, blowing themselves up or whatever. And I'm like,
right. There's always a nebula. Always. Star Trek Nemesis had a nebula because the scimitar was waiting for it. Do you remember? It's in Nemesis, and then in Insurrection there was a nebula with the gas and the Metreon gas. There was no nebula in Contact, and there was no nebula in Generations. Yeah.
They're either gonna fly through the clouds, sort of manage to sort of keep them at distance for a bit. They'll come out of it, and there'll be a nearby fucking planet or some shit they can go to.
Possibly,
They'll manage to like get a message to Starfleet, and then more ships will turn up to help them out, and then
maybe
back them off again a bit. Something like that is going to happen because
the Enterprise
E. Because
the Enterprise E is supposed to be coming.
Okay.
Yeah, supposed to be in this show somewhere.
Okay.
But there's always a nebula. Three out of the 10 movies had a nebula featured. But you know what the writing is saying? We're going to do the Khan thing. We're going to do the Khan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so on the nose. I wonder if you can escape it in any way.
I wish
with Star Trek.
I wish she wasn't as much like that, because it's very much on the nose. It's very much even like her ship and the color tones and that it's very Wrath of Khan and his ship. And, and it's like I don't know. They never have a good compelling bad guy. They never do.
Yeah, well, some people would argue that you shouldn't have a bad guy. You should have an antagonist. But But bad guys are just easier to do. So
anyway, that's sort of my thoughts at the moment. I'm still optimistic. I'm still enjoying it. So we'll see where it goes.
okay. Well, let's end it there. We'll have a short one, and for those that are listening or watching, thank you, and stay tuned for episode 3.